How's it going, everybody? I'm Josh from Elder Drunken Highlander, and I'm coming to you with a video that's a little bit different than what we normally do. We're talking about webcam magic, specifically tournament webcam magic, specifically cheating in tournament webcam magic. Not how to cheat, but how to catch cheaters when they're cheating against you or just prevent it altogether. And here with me, I have Alex, aka Accepted, who's been in a few of the vlogs, if you remember. And we're going to be talking about not only how to prevent cheating, but also what he's doing to prevent cheating in his upcoming tournament, Path to the Peak, which is going to be on October 28th, which is coming up real soon. So if you're wondering, what am I going to do on October 28th? The answer is go play in Path to the Peak and maybe get a free win against me, because I'm playing a pile of jank. I'm playing something really good and spicy. So yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about webcam magic, and we're going to talk a little bit about preventing cheating. But first, why don't you introduce yourself, Alex? Tell everybody who doesn't already know you who you are.
Hi, I'm Alex, or Accepted, and I have been in the community for a while, just playing Kenrith normally, and I've just played a lot of tournaments. I have seen what some faults of them, and I'm trying to fix those with my tournament.
Heck yeah. We love it. We love it. So this episode is about cheating. Cheating is, I don't want to say common in webcam magic, because I think it's just common in magic in general. And it's something that a lot of players just kind of like don't think of, especially if you don't play in events with prizes. Like when you're playing casually, first of all, it's very unlikely that someone's cheating in a casual game of magic. And if they are, maybe they need it. Who cares? But when you're playing in a tournament, that stuff does come up more often, and it's something that a lot of players who don't normally play in tournaments don't really think of, and it's something that is just not something that's always on the forefront of your mind, which unfortunately, when you're playing in a tournament, it has to be. I have played against cheaters before, and I have lost to cheaters before because they cheated in tournaments. So we did a vlog that was when I played a cEDH tournament and a Tiny Leaders tournament at the exact same time. I duo queued for them, and obviously I lost that tournament, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because we found out that one of the players, Kolkio, had cheated during the tournament to secure first place, which is kind of sad because the prize was literally just a t-shirt. So that's why you have to be vigilant, because even when the prize is like some clout and a t-shirt, people will be cheating. So there's a lot of things that you can do to prevent cheating. In-person magic, it's actually, I feel like it's more difficult to recognize cheating and see cheaters, because in webcam magic, the biggest tool that you have is you can record your games, which is something you're doing for the tournament, right?
Yeah, I am pretty much forcing every pod to have at least one person recording the match. I'm not gonna be like, all right, let me see the video, unless I have reason to believe someone cheated. Yeah, and talking about Kolkio, I was in that top 4 game.
Oh, I forgot that.
It really sucked. Let's say that much. But we had a recording, so it made it so he wasn't in tournaments anymore.
Yeah,
it's useful.
That's the advantage of webcam. I feel like the perception, especially recently, is that there's more cheating in webcam tournaments. But I don't know about that. I feel like there's just as much cheating in IRL tournaments as well, and it's just that with webcam, because so many people are able to record games, and because you can play that back slow and be like, oh, that's a shuffle cheat, I see them switching that card's position in their deck, you can identify that stuff way easier. That's like the biggest thing that you can do to catch cheaters. Unfortunately, it won't stop someone from cheating. It's not a preventative measure, but at least if you do catch them cheating on video, that's it. There's a video of you cheating, then you're done. You're banned from tournaments. It's honestly, it's really not worth it, because the prizes for tournaments aren't high enough, I feel like, to justify cheating. But we're not here to judge people. We're here to prevent them from cheating. We can judge them a little bit too, though. How dare you?
How dare they?
Yeah. So there's another really common cheat that we already kind of touched upon. That's the shuffle cheat. That's kind of the most common, I'd say. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would say that's probably the most common. Switching cards on the top, or like taking a card from over here and shuffling it into your deck. Yeah, that's super common.
Mm-hmm. So that's a classic move. That's one that's really easy to catch if it's recorded, but not something that you'd always notice when you're playing a game, especially if you're looking at your own cards, trying to shuffle, or if you're watching. There's 4 screens. It's not like in person where you can like reach across and touch someone's deck or like shuffle it for them if you really hate them. You can't do that. So it's it's very very difficult to catch someone doing that stuff. But one of the things that you can do is you can enforce a pile cut. You have like deck section 1, deck section 2, deck section 3, which I'm holding off screen with my third arm, and you give them numbers using dice or like your fingers 1, 3, and you ask your opponents which order you would like them rearranged into, or they would like them rearranged into, and then you do what your opponent tells you. You put 3 on top or 2 on top or whichever one they tell you to put on top. That's the best way to stop shuffle cheating right there, because if they touch their deck again after that, either there is an issue that they can explain to you, or they're cheating. So that's the big one. There's also like it sucks to be like you as the person who's being cheated against, the victim, so to speak. It's your responsibility to enforce this, but you got to be hardlined on that. You got to be like, hey, I didn't see you ask someone for pile cuts. Can you please just do a pile cut for me? Thank you. And like you got to be kind of stern, because the people who are looking to do this kind of cheat are going to be looking to avoid this kind of cut. So it's definitely a thing that you have to be on about. I think what was the last tournament someone got caught cheating doing this exact thing? They were refusing a pile cut.
Refusing a pile cut? I'm
Or
not
they did the
entirely.
wrong pile cut.
That happens almost every tournament. That is one of the biggest issue with the pile cut is someone will say 2, 1, 3 or something, and then they'll just put like a different one on top, and nobody wants to call them out because maybe they just misheard you, or often people will mix up 1 and 3. Yeah, it's something people still use to cheat because you don't want to call them out. You don't want to call a judge on that, and you could just be like, hey, that wasn't the right piles, fix it. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, and then they'll fix it. That's all you need to do in that situation.
Don't be afraid to call them out. Also, like, tangent, don't be afraid to call a judge. There's really nothing wrong with calling a judge. The judges got to do their job, otherwise they're not gonna have as many judges at the next event. So if anything, you're helping them out by calling them. But like, actually, seriously, if you call a judge, the judge is gonna be nice. They're not here to get anyone in trouble. And if it takes too long, they'll give you a time extension, which is the greatest thing in the world. I like to call a judge even when there's like something nebulous going on that it's just a little bit confusing. I'll call a judge just so we can have a conversation about it and maybe get a time extension if needed, because that's just always a good thing to do. So don't be afraid to call a judge.
I call judges for bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
Just so I can go into the bathroom and be like, all right, I feel so much better. I'm not holding it in the entire game. Call judges for small things like that. Call judges whenever you have a question about a card and how it works. Don't ask the people at the table. They're not a judge. Even if they are a judge, ask the impartial third party judge.
Yeah, they don't always have your best interests at heart. So
they very seldom do.
Your opponents might not be giving you the full story of what their deck or cards do. And, they don't have to. So you can always call a judge to get the information straight. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, the other cheat that's really common is the hand stacking cheat, which is when you have like your deck right here, and then you have your deck number 2 right here with all of your favorite cards that you need to counter your opponent's spells or win. And your opponent, let's say your opponent plays their Emil to combo with their Dockside, and you're like, oh crud, let me reach off camera and get my Force of Will. That is another like very common cheat that's unfortunately very hard to catch, especially in pickup games on webcam. Like, you can enforce have your hand at the table at all times, but like if it's off for even a second, they can swap a card quickly. But the thing that you can do is have a face cam or a hand cam, which I think is required at Path to the Peak, right?
It is only required if you don't have sufficient like area that you're showing on camera.
Oh, okay. So
and I would like to call the what you're calling like the pocket force.
What's the pocket pact?
The pocket pact. Like, if you don't show your face cam, you could just be like, oh, I'm like looking at my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just done there. But if there's more area like on the table shown, then if they pull it from the side, you'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're watching them because they're in priority, they're thinking. So you're like, okay, let's see what they're doing. So if they pull something from the side, you're gonna see it.
Yep. Yep.
You just need to stay vigilant and actually watch your opponents, because if you don't, like, they could pull something on you, and that sucks when that happens.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's a part of every aspect of Magic, from FNM to cEDH webcam tournaments to the Pro Tour with two explorers. It's just it's
Yep.
just how it goes. People, whenever there's prizes on the line in anything, people will take any edge they can to win, and unfortunately, sometimes that's cheating. So those are more or less the most common ways to cheat. I don't know if we missed any, did we?
There are almost certainly other ways to cheat, but they are less prevalent,
Yeah.
let's say.
Yeah.
Like there's always the shuffle cheats, like they will be there until the end of time. You can't fix those. They happen in person and they will happen online until the end of time. But online you can catch them easier.
Yeah, I'm
That's what
convinced it happens in
matters.
person more often. Sometimes there's been a few tournament games in my life, and I'm not going to say them because nothing was proved here and I don't want to call people out, but there's been a few games where I've lost in a way that I was like, that was very suspicious. I don't remember anyone cutting that person's deck after they fetched there, and then they drew exactly what they needed to win at this exact moment. That was very suspicious. Or like, oh, they won like turn one and they had the absolute nuts in their hand with protection. Did someone cut their deck? That is that has happened to me multiple times at tournaments where I felt like I've lost because of some shady stuff. I don't remember if someone cut the deck. So it's
And for
common.
what it's worth, in person, uh, always cut if it's offered, and if it's not offered, say, "Hey, can someone cut that?" Like, don't judge cut and just tap it with your finger.
Never.
No, actually cut the deck, because you can't trust another person shuffling. Even if you can see it, don't trust it. Like, just cut it. Like, you can even do like this, because that's legal. You can shuffle as a cut.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can shuffle it yourself as a cut.
Yep.
Yes, and then people in the past have cheated that way, but shuffling their opponent's cards to the like that would be relevant to the bottom, but like
Yeah, well, that's if someone's looking at the deck while they're shuffling, then you can either call them out or call a judge too. That's
oh,
that's
of
the thing.
course.
You don't want to. Actually, that happened to me in Tier One Con, not the other way around, but like I was the one looking at my deck because if anyone's ever played Magic with me IRL, you know I don't have very good dexterity, and shuffling decks is hard. So I used to look at the deck all the time when I shuffled because I wasn't a tournament Magic player until Tier One Con, and it wasn't until like the top 16 pod where someone was like, "Hey, can you not look at your deck when you shuffle?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense." And so I had to clumsily attempt to shuffle without looking at my deck, which I hadn't really done before with a
And
deck
this is
that
the
big.
reason for
Yeah,
this is the reason for my face cam though, is because I can shuffle on my chest and it's all comfy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have to shuffle over the desk like this
Yeah, it's
and
really
have my
awkward
arms
shuffling
reached
over
out.
there. I'm
It
excited to have
is.
face cam for this tournament so that I can also make eyes at my opponents. Just
Oh,
kidding. I'm
oh,
not gonna do
Josh.
that. I don't know if that'll work over webcam.
It would work on me.
Oh my. Yeah, it's gonna be a really, really fun tournament. If circling back to Path of the Peak, if you have nothing to do on that day, or you have something you want to get out of on that day, perhaps definitely come and enter. I'm really excited. I am paying $30 to lose games with River Song, which is gonna be really, really fun. It's gonna make for a very interesting video for sure. Also, the deck is spicy as fuck. If I do get any W's with it, it's gonna be in very spectacular and cool fashion. So
Uh,
I'm hyped for
oh,
that.
one more thing I want to talk to you with Path to the Peak is we have a bunch of very fun casters
Oh
that
yeah.
are going to be casting. We have Scoots, the Scoots. We have Scipio, one of the saltiest people alive. We have Zach, Disco Breaker. He is a great player who's the unluckiest player to ever live. We have Corktronimus, Billy. He wants to cast with us. We have, I think, two more people. Like Zane was going to cast with us, but he has plans. But we have a great group of guys that are going to help cast this, and I'm really stoked to cast this with them.
Is my good buddy Mr. MTG underscore hot dog gonna be casting?
Yes,
I thought so.
The other member of the Punt Pals is going to be casting with me, and I'm really excited because I love casting with Lauren. Doing that at the cookout was fantastic. Yeah, the Punt Pals. You guys should listen to it. It's very fun to listen to.
Great podcast. Yeah, the it's gonna be really cool, the coverage. So even if you're like busy that day and you can't do the tournament, you can always tune in to the coverage. It's gonna be at 11 a.m. EST, 75-minute rounds with no turns, so it's gonna be like kind of fast. I'm going to a Halloween party afterwards, and I like very confidently told them I'd be there on time because even if I get to finals in this tournament, there's no way it's going super late, which is great if you're not in an East Coast U.S. time zone, which is kind of the time zone that tournament commander online is built for right now, unfortunately for everyone in all the other time zones.
Which is why it's at 11 instead of 10. I tried to make it so the West Coast people didn't have to be at the player meeting at 7 a.m.
Yeah, that would be
And
awkward.
We have somebody from Alaska that's going to be playing, and he's going to actually join the player meeting at 7 a.m. instead of 6 a.m.
We like that.
So, yeah, this is the best I could do for everybody. So it's 4 rounds, so the Europeans aren't staying up all night. It's at 11 a.m., so the West Coast people don't have to wake up at an obscene time. I try to make it easy for everyone, and this is the best I can do this time. I wish there were more online events for Europeans, though. I'm just not European, so I probably can't facilitate that.
Yeah, honestly, same. Maybe the one day we'll do that. We'll be like, all right, guys, I'm waking up at 6 a.m. to TO this tournament for the Europeans. It'll be noon for them.
I would look like this. I'm awake.
Player meeting. Check in.
Or I would drink all of the Red Bulls in the world.
That would probably get you there.
It would probably get me somewhere, like a early grave, but you know.
But you'd have a real hype players meeting before that.
Oh yeah. The cast would be insane.
All right. Well, that's basically everything that I wanted to talk about for webcam cheating and webcam prevention, cheating prevention. I don't really have much more to say. Alex, do you have anything else you want to plug about yourself or your tournament, or just nice things to say to the community?
I love the community. I love all of you. And number one thing about my tournament is I want you guys to have fun and play to win. I don't. If you're not having fun, there's no reason to play. So.
You coming at me with that play to win comment?
No. You're gonna be playing to win with a suboptimal deck. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
I know you. You are a Spike at heart, but also a weird brewer at heart at the same time.
Honestly, I feel like it might be possible I take someone by surprise with this deck and wreck.
Oh, you will.
Pods.
You will get a win. I don't know if you'll get more than one.
Hopefully,
but you will get one.
I'm hoping. I feel like it's so. I like goldfishing the deck. I was getting like fast wins, like turn 3s, turn 4s, which is like pretty good for is it? But also like there's the control. I don't know. I think it's good because like it could pull the trigger, but also if River Song just exists on the battlefield long enough, I'm also just gonna win. That's what the card says. It says, have you know what the card does?
Yeah.
Every time you search your library, you get fucking punched. And also she gets huge.
That card is really cool. And it's cool with is it Preordain or Ponder?
Preordain's the one that puts in the bottom.
Yeah.
Ponder, you look at 3 and then you don't do anything with them because you have to draw cards from the bottom of your deck.
Yeah, like so it's Preordained because you can scry you could keep stuff on top. Put it on the bottom if you want it. It's really cool with scry effects.
There's cool things you can do with all the cards that put things from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck too.
I think scry is just really cool with River Song.
I'm also running Field of Ruin, so I can force my opponents to search their decks, and it's gonna be sweet because I can pick the person who I know doesn't have basics in their deck list and like grief one of their lands and then get 3 River Song triggers. And if I have like a Curiosity on her, that means draw 3. Kind of stuff.
Wow, and it's all from the bottom. We did it.
Yep, exactly. If you enjoyed the tangent at the end of this video, you should subscribe if you haven't already. You should enter Alex's tournament. You should join our Discord and chat with us about like my bad River Song deck or whatever deck you're brewing. And you should follow our links on social media and check out our sponsor, Original Print Proxies, who makes these awesome tokens. Here's a treasure token right here that I will be using for this webcam tournament. They're fucking cool as shit. They're so cool. I really love these. They're like actual card size, which is great. And they just look, that's the wrong one. I don't know which hands I'm using with the camera. They just look really sweet. So, big fan of those. I don't really do sponsors, so I wouldn't do it if I didn't believe in the thing. So, definitely check those out. I think I probably forgot some promos, but